Alright guys, here at the shelter, going to be modifying my base camp, and what I wanted to do is show you the contents of my box and show you the box itself. I built it myself, wanted to keep with a more traditional look, and then use more hand tools. This is something that you're not necessarily going to carry out into the woods, especially for any kind of distance. This is something that you're going to need conveyance for. And what I used, and I really don't hear a whole lot talked about, except for when it comes to winter, and that is a sled. Sleds are a great source of conveyance. I can pack quite a bit on it, and in this area right now, fall, leaves down, pine needles down, really easy for that sled to drag across. So I was able to pack this on the sled. I packed some gear on the sled as well, and was able to drag it out here into the woods with very little effort at all. I have my sled out here. I made a second trip, and I've drug a bunch of rocks out here to make a fire pit for my camp kitchen. And I'll show that a little later. But what I wanted to do is show you the contents of my woodworking crate, show you the crate itself, and you know, show you what I chose to use out here as hand tools, most of them being a more traditional style of hand tool. So that way I can do a lot of woodworking, I can do building projects, I can really craft and create a lot of stuff out here with the material around me and the right tools that I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull some tools out and kind of show you what's in here. So let me get adjusted here. All right, so first thing right on top is my haversack. I picked this up at a yard sale. I don't remember what I paid for it. It has a zipper pouch on the front, another zipper pouch here, two large pouches on the inside, two little pockets on the side. You know, looks like a canvas type material with some leather, and then another zipper pouch on the back. So got my haversack. Next item I have in here, a bow saw. And when you buy new blades, they tend to come with these blade covers. I just kept mine. And then also I have a spare blade that I made my own cover out of flattening a piece of PVC. Next thing I have in here is a hatchet or a belt axe, and this one also has the ability to pull nails and has a flat spot for hammering. That works out really well, so I kind of got a hammer as well as a hatchet or a belt axe. Now, I do not prefer using these for splitting wood. I feel that these are far more dangerous than using a camp style axe, because you don't really have the distance. I feel like you're going to be swinging harder to do the work, using more calories, more energy, and you have a higher risk, in my opinion, of injuring yourself. I think these are best used for smaller projects, whether shaving something, cutting off just branches, cutting against a anvil and cutting stakes, you know, rounding stuff off. But I would not use these, in my opinion, to split wood. Other people may have differing opinions, but if I can carry this, then I should be able to carry an axe and feel much safer using that. But that's my thoughts on it. I have a small shovel, so I use this to dig out the fire pit that you see inside the shelter. I also will use this to dig out a latrine area out here. Also, you know, I'm going to be making my camp kitchen. I'll be digging out an area for the fire pit for that. Also, as you cook and you build and things like that, you're going to have ashes that build up. You can use those ashes as a resource. So I can use this shovel to collect my ashes, or if I need to move coals over, because I plan on doing a keystone style fire, move coals or rake them over into that keystone. Tons of uses for this little shovel here. Another tool that I have is my full-size axe, or my camp style axe. Now, again, axes you typically want armpit to the end, so this one is just about perfect for me. I got this, I found it actually underneath somebody's house, and it was all rusted up. They didn't even know it was underneath there. Thing was a brand new, it looked brand new to me, barely used. The only thing I had to do with it, because it was in a high moist area, the wood had collected a lot of moisture. So once it dried out, the head got a little wobbly, especially when it was used. So I've just had to put some more wedges in there to hold that tight. And I put I sanded it up, got all the rust off, and sharpened it, and got a free axe. So there's a full-size axe. That's going to be my splitting my wood. I'm not really going to be felling trees. If you got a saw, there's no need to chop down trees with an axe when I can use a saw. But splitting wood, other kinds of projects like that, cutting down smaller trees that'll take one quick swipe, I'll be using that for that. So then to bring in some more antique or traditional style tools, so I have some of them in here as well. One of which is a draw knife. Has a little bit of a sweep to it. Really great for spoke shaving, debarking, really honing the end of something. I plan on making a bench later, and I can really pinch down on the end of those sticks to shape it so that it'll fit inside of a bored hole much better than if I tried to do it all with my knife. This will make a much quicker work of that. So great useful tool. Picked this up at a antique store. I think it was maybe 10 bucks. It had been broke, and it was re-welded. So just something to look at. Also, it had not been used in forever, had a layer of rust there, and I had to sharpen it up. So there's a draw knife. Another tool that I have is a brace. Now, obviously, to have a brace, then you need to have auger bits, which I have as well. So, brace is going to work great for boring holes into items, especially when I'm going to make a bench later. So here's my brace. I picked this up at an estate sale, and I think I paid $8 for this brace and 4 auger bits. So yard sales, estate sales, antique stores, thrift shops, you can really get some great tools. Another thing that I got, which is free, is a bellow. At least that's what I know to call them. So in the event that I am working on something and really want to heat up my fire, I can stick this metal tip into the coals, pump it a few times, and really kick that heat up a notch. So I got this free, actually. I was at somebody's house. They were getting stuff together for a yard sale, and I was there before the sale took place, and they offered me the bellow as well as all of the fire pokers and all that stuff, and I didn't need them. I just kind of wanted this, so got this free. Another thing that I have is I have a 4-way, has 2 rasps and 2 files, 4-way tool. I have a metal file. This is going to be, in case I hit it or nick a rock or something on my axe or hatchet, that I could really clean that blade back up, or my shovel. And then I also have another larger rasp. I have also used this file, or another one like it, for fleshing out animals. Because of the size of it, and because of the hard 90, it really works great on removing that membrane, that fat, that leftover meat from skinning them out. It does a great job on fleshing out an animal. So I also have that as an option. And then I have a spare roll of tarred bank line. Then over here in another pocket, I'll bring the camera over here. I'm gonna put these tools in, I'll bring the camera over here, and I'll show you kind of what the box looks like. but I have another separate compartment for smaller tools. So what I put in here is I have a simple piece of leather. This for really honing a blade, just something small. Also, if I needed to grab something for the fire, it works as a mitten of sorts. Great uses to have a spare piece of leather around. I've used it for so many things I can't even explain. Also, the hinges of my box are made out of remnant leather. So if I had to repair a hinge, I have that as well. I also had two different types of sandpaper. You know, if I really wanted to make a cool project out here and clean it up and make it look pretty nice. 100 grit and 150 grit, just to kind of sand it and clean it up. I have a tinder bag that is just full of pine needles and birch bark and cattail fluff and fat wood. Just stuff for a dry tinder that I know that I have in my kit to build a fire. Another thing I have is about 25-30 foot of this natural cordage. On my crate here, all my handles are made from this rope here. Also more traditional, but also if I needed to haul something, pull something, in the process of making something, I have a little bit more of a traditional looking natural rope that I can use for a variety of tasks. There's too many to list to even explain. So I have a roll of natural rope. I also have two chisels. One is about 1.5 inches and one is about 1/2 inch. Chisels, just notching, things like that. I have the 5 auger bits for the brace. So I have from looks like 1.5 inches here down to about 1/4 inch there. So I have a variety of size of holes that I can bore in material for building stuff. So once you can bore holes, you're opening up a whole new world of crafting or bush crafting while you're out here. There's tables, chairs, all those types of things that you can make now because you're capable of boring and using pegs, or being able to put a leg in there by crafting it with the draw knife to fit the hole. So there are some auger bits. I also have 2 other smaller files. One is a round file and one is a smaller flat file with the handle on it. I have a small hand planer just in case I wanted to round an edge or make something nice and smooth. I have that availability. This is more of an antique style. I don't know the year that it was made, but I have that. I think it's a 3-inch planer, just a hand palm type planer. I also have wedges. Now wedges can really be used to split down some wood. I have 3 of them. 2 are larger than the other, and you can really start making dimensional lumber. So if I needed to really process or shape or change wood, say I wanted to make something with planks, then now I have the ability to do that. Or say I'm wanting to build a workbench and I need to take a 16-inch log and split it in half so that I can essentially build a flat workbench or a worktop. Now I have the ability to do that with the grain instead of it being separated. So tons of things you can do with this. Bow building, all kinds of stuff. Just a great tool to have around. Doesn't mean I'm going to use it all the time, but it's there if I need it. Another thing that I have is a smaller wood carving type gouge. I don't own a hook knife, something I've wanted for quite some time but just haven't purchased. But this is for wood carving, goes in the palm, gives you great control, and it is a bold type gouge to dig down in there and get that material. Spoons, bowls, smaller type things, smaller carving type tasks. This will help me get that gouge or that curve and remove material. I also have a jackknife or a pocket knife. This one is a Queen Steel number 49, made in the USA. Has 3 blades on it. This is good for just the simple carving, notching, simple carving tasks. I have 2 candles, just if I had to wax something, but also just for light, you know, whatever. I could use tons of things for candles. You guys know what you can use candles for. And then I have a set of sharpening stones. So this one is more coarse and square shaped and a little longer. This one is a medium rectangular shape and a fine rectangular shape, so I can obviously sharpen all of my tools that I'm using. And then I have a small bottle of oil to maintain my tools, and then I have a Bic lighter that's wrapped in duct tape. So with all of this, I'm opening up a whole new area of crafting that I can do out here at my base camp, that are more hand tools. Almost, if I had to, you know, I could really build a nice living for myself out here using the material provided for me by God in His creation and the tools used here to build stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put everything back in the box, show you what it looks like in the box, and show you the crate that I built as well. So hang on just a moment and I'll be right back with you. Alright, so as you can see, I still have tons of room in there, tons of space. All my larger tools over here and smaller stuff there in the box. What I did was I just measured this out, this section, based off of the axe I knew I was going to carry, which I knew was my longest item. And then the space here is 13 inches. And then I just made the compartment down there at the end just so I could put stuff that I didn't want really knocking around. What you can see I done here for the rope handles is I just bored a hole and tied a knot at the end. I have a handle on each end, then one on the top. What I did on the top was I just used leather, folded it over, 3 screws on the top, 3 screws on the back, and made myself a nice crate that if I had to carry or transport, I have handles. I have a lid on the top. I can use it inside my shelter for a tabletop until I get one built, and then I can also use this you know, just to protect and carry my tools, have a seat off the ground, all different types of things I can do with this until I get more things built. So just wanted to show you guys what I'm doing out here, what's going on, you know, everything I plan on getting done, my tools that I'm using. I'm out here practicing my skills. You're not going to get good at bushcraft or crafting if you don't spend any time crafting your skills or honing your skills. You know, a hunter doesn't become an expert first time he gets in the woods. You can't sit around and watch videos and expect to become a wilderness survival expert or a homesteader. You actually got to jump in, you know, got to take that leap. So as you have opportunity, guys, get out in the woods. I don't care if it's in your own backyard. Practice your skills. Look around your yard for ID and plants. You know, start building stuff with the material you have available to you, and then you know, broaden your horizons. Get out into the woods, get out into the wild, and challenge yourself. It's the only way you're going to get better. So I'm going to work on more projects out here, and I'll keep you guys informed. Thanks for watching. God bless.